Today, we want to take you on a journey. Imagine, there has been war for weeks. You live in a city that has been under siege for ages. You just got home from work, when suddenly you hear shooting. Shots are fired at your house. A huge explosion follows, and there's dust everywhere. You can't find your youngest brother and sister. Between the ruins, you find parts of their clothes, parts of their favorite stuffed animals, and finally, parts of their bodies.
3 months later, you're on the run without your family. You travel towards Europe, but the journey takes weeks of living under horrible circumstances.
Finally, you arrive at the refugee camp in Greece. You haven't eaten anything for days and you get sick. Eventually, you get help to apply to go to the Netherlands. You think the journey is over. Now I'm safe. However, after arriving here, the struggle is not over. People protest the coming of asylum centers in their towns, and they spread hate and fear about your culture. Integration into Dutch society is difficult.
This story is not made up. This is the real journey of Marwa, a refugee from Syria who came to the Netherlands in 2015. And her story is not unique. Marwa is just one of the 3,000 refugees living in the area of Utrecht.
We are Songa,
Matthijs.
Veerle and Tessa, and we find it of utmost importance that refugees like Marwa can too find their safe haven in our city.
At Enactus Utrecht, we believe that social entrepreneurship can contribute to the realization of this goal. Therefore, we have 2 enterprises devoted to the well-being and integration of refugees in the Netherlands. Our first enterprise, Toekies, aims to help refugee children to build a promising future in the Netherlands, whilst our second enterprise, Bosselbakkers, aims to help adult refugees to build a social network and improve their Dutch.
Globally, 40% of refugees are under the age of 18. These children had to give up their education, their friends, and their hopes for the future. Toekies finds this a terrible loss and therefore creates the opportunity for those children to dream again.
We do this with the organization of drawing classes at language schools in and close to Utrecht. Here, we ask the children to draw their wildest dreams on paper. And when we do this, we truly see the sparks in their eyes reignite as the children start to dream again.
From a business perspective, Toekies is a great example of an enterprise that had to change course. When we started, we used to make children's t-shirts with the designs of refugee children on them. However, as we do not have children ourselves yet, we miss the fact that white-collar t-shirts and young children are definitely not a match made in heaven. And surprisingly enough, young kids tend to grow incredibly fast, which made the t-shirts too expensive for the parents to buy.
And thus, it was time to change direction. After a careful needs assessment in the form of interviews and surveys, we swapped the t-shirts for socks. We did not only change our product, we also changed our target audience. We now sell mostly to students and young professionals who seem to love colorful socks.
The core values of our business, however, stay the same. We still encourage the children to dream big, and we still use their drawings as an inspiration for our products. And by buying a pair of our socks, you contribute to the wildest dreams of the most good-hearted children. And oh boy, we would like to see those dreams come true.
One of our socks, for instance, is drawn by Adam. And I remember at one of the drawing classes when I asked him what he was drawing, he told me that he wanted to use a harmful weapon for a greater good. He wanted to shoot money at people in need. This way, he said, everyone can live a happy life without any worries.
The production of the first 1,500 pairs of socks was funded through crowdfunding. With the help of over 200 individuals and leading enterprises such as Randstad and the Social Impact Factory, we raised well over 4,000 euros. Now we sell the socks for €9.99 per pair and can proudly say that we've sold more than 200 pairs already. You can buy yours on toekies.com.
We use our profit to become financially independent, but more importantly, to organize events for those children to come closer to their dreams. For example, an event, an excursion to a bakery to learn about the craft of baking, or meeting a professor at university.
And what Tukkies aims to help refugee children. The Bostelbakkers aims to help adult refugees.
As we have seen in the story of Mara, integration in society is difficult. Refugees find it hard to learn the language and to find a sense of belonging. Sadly, this is a story that we hear far too often. And thus, the Bostelbakkers aims to strengthen their social network and to improve their Dutch language skills while baking delicious cookies.
Wondering how we got to this idea? Imagine a summer night in 2018. You and your friends are going out for drinks and you look at your beer. A bit tipsy, you wonder, how can I turn this liquid gold into a more sustainable product? The next morning, you immediately call your fellow inactive students and you take action. This is exactly what happened to one of our alumni. He found out that the process of brewing beer creates waste material, such as bostel. This product makes up to 85% of the residual product when brewing beer. That is why we use it as our main ingredient for our cookies.
In the first 8 months of this year, we reduced more than 7 kilos of CO2 emissions with using bostel as the main ingredient of our cookies. Moreover, we have contributed to social sustainability as the language mastery of our bakers improved and we strengthened our social network.
Every week, we baked, cut and packed the cookies. And while doing so, we talked with the refugee bakers about all the important and the less important things.
Ik ben Ubay. Ik kom hier als een asielzoeker. Nou, ik heb een verblijfsvergunning. Ik heb een goede ervaring met die Bostelbakkergroep. En wij samen gaan bakken in deze kantoor. Ik vind het heel leuk als wij gaan rustig bakken. So, ik vind het heel leuk om mijn taal te verbeteren. En hoop ik dat gaat door na het corona. Dat is alles.
This last year, we turned the Bostelbakkers into a professional organization with the implementation of a hygiene code, an officially tested expiration date, and some serious conversations with big customers. And this professionalization has proven to be successful, as we've sold almost 2,500 cookies, resulting in a total revenue of almost 4,000 euros.
As you can tell, we have taken some big steps, and we are very proud of all that we've achieved with the Bostelbakkers this year. And that's why we know the Bostelbakkers is ready for an exit.
We are very proud to announce that for the first time in the history of Enactus Utrecht, one of our enterprises is bought by an external partner. This exit will take the Bostelbakkers to a new level by bringing in external capital into the organization, by finding a bigger kitchen and most importantly, by baking more cookies than ever.
And this is certainly needed because we have some major requests waiting to be produced. For instance, the city of Utrecht wanted to order 3,000 cookies for one single event. The exit means the Bostelbakkers can finally say yes to all your demands.
One thing is for sure. The integration of refugees like Ubay and Marwa will always be our priority. And together, we will continue to try to make their futures in the Netherlands a bright future.
And speaking of brighter futures, our enterprises have worked with the Sustainable Development Goals in mind in order to balance people, planet and profit.
But of course we did not do this all by ourselves. Together, with over 40 fellow students, we managed 5 enterprises, 2 think tanks and 1 academy this year. Each one of them with an important goal for the future. Here are some.
At Klimaatjes we work towards a sustainable future in which we have responsible leaders who look out for the environment. We do this by developing board games in which children gain knowledge and insight in sustainability at a young age. Through cooperation and discussion, in a gamification context, the consequences of their choices become visible on the board game. Up to now, we have made impact on more than 200 primary school kids and raised 2,700 euros for the development and production of 30 board games. The coming months we will be working on the sales and pre-sales for a next edition of 100 board games, so more and more children will become tomorrow's climate experts.
At Benny's we work towards a circular future in which we repurpose festival banners. Our mission is to reduce waste and make sustainability the new fashion standard. Doing so, we've already sold 6 beautiful and unique backpacks. In the past few months, we've collected around 150 square meters of festival banners from festivals like Sunda, Smeerboel, Oom, Adapt, Tweetakt and many more.
At Spin de Grijs, we work towards an inclusive future in which we look after our elderly. To tackle the problem of loneliness amongst elderly, we organize surprising and exciting activities in the nursing homes. These activities are all carried out by talented students. Since last year, we have made impact on more than 250 elderly in 3 different cities, with a revenue of more than 1,500 euros. The next step will be scaling up our project to bring joy in the life of even more elderly.
This year, our enterprises have worked on 7 sustainable development goals.
Have raised over 6,500 euros during crowdfundings.
Have impacted almost 350 lives,
And have made a revenue of over 16,000 euros.
which is almost 2.5 times more than last year.
And of course, we are incredibly proud of these numbers. But we are even more proud that we can help people like Mara and Ubay integrate into Dutch society.
Just a few weeks ago, when we met with Ubay to film for this presentation, he told us that with the help of our students, he has now found a permanent home close to Utrecht. And that here he can start a new life, together with his girlfriend. A life he cannot wait for to begin. And honestly, this is what matters most to us. This shows us what we can achieve with all our hard work and dedication.
This is why we spend our spare time drawing with refugee children and baking with adult refugees.
This is why we use innovative and creative solutions to make Utrecht a safe haven for everyone.
And this is why, together, we build towards a social, sustainable and inclusive future.
En alles komt goed voor allemaal.